Okay, so this is me in my little studio today. This is going to be me in 5 years when I have a net worth of $100 million. Or this, or this, or this. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I actually think it's possible. And when you think something is possible, you're gonna do everything you can to look and search for solutions that can solve that problem. So in this case, the problem or goal is to have a net worth of $100 million. And when I specifically think that is possible, I will literally do everything I can to reach that goal. Now, on the other hand, if you don't think making that much money is possible, you're just gonna spend your time justifying why it's not possible. And what good does that do? So yeah, I've outlined the whole process. And in this video, I'm basically gonna show you step by step everything I'm gonna be doing to reach that goal. Because I truly think with the right amount of hard work, leverage, and luck, I will be able to achieve this, and you can as well. So you guys already know this, but a $100 million net worth does not mean I'm going to have literally $100 million in the bank. I mean, that'd be awesome, but that's not likely gonna be how it works out. Net worth is just gonna be your assets minus your liabilities. So for most wealthy people, they don't have all their assets within a bank account. Rather, their money is spread out into different assets, most of which actually grow. So yeah, when trying to maximize your net worth, obviously you're gonna want to have a really big asset sheet, and you're also going to want to minimize your liabilities. Now, no, I'm not saying having zero liabilities because that means you're not going to be leveraged at all. Rather, you should have a healthy percentage, and when done right, that is going to maximize your chances of achieving such a high net worth. This is a graph of how I expect it to play out. Now, note that it's not going to be linear. The first 4 to 5 years of my entrepreneurial journey, my net worth grew really slowly. But in the last couple of years, it's really shot up. And while we can expect this sort of exponential growth to happen for a short block of time, it might be flat for a while, but then we're gonna see some big surges in the net worth growth. I think there's gonna be crests, there's gonna be valleys. And yeah, especially in the later years of my life, that's basically when I'm gonna see some of the biggest spikes of my net worth. But yeah, in terms of the overall plan that I expect to take to get there, here is a preview of what it's going to look like. And right now, I'm basically gonna show you guys what each of these things are and how it's gonna play into my overall net worth. Hopefully you guys can get some inspiration and apply these things into your own life, because I truly do think that this is a replicable system. So the first step that I'm gonna be taking is building a high cash flow business with leverage. Leverage is the keyword here because for me, I am more of a solo entrepreneur. I don't really like building teams. I like doing things myself. But over the last few years, I've learned that I really cannot adopt that mindset. Instead, I need to leverage other people's times. I need to build a team. I need to hire people that are better at doing things than I am. And when I do that and build businesses with the help of other people, I'm going to really set myself up for a lot more success. Now for me, I plan on building a network of YouTube channels. So we have this channel right here. This is my main Charlie Chang channel. I also have Startup Wise, which I am building right now. And in the future, I plan on building a wide range of YouTube channels, some in the food space, some in the lifestyle space, and maybe even some in the music niche. I love channels like this because they are great for cash flow. Sure, it does take time to set up before you actually start making any money, but when done right and when optimized, which is something that I feel like I've sort of mastered, YouTube channels can become great cash flow machines. Now, the whole thing with maximizing your income through YouTube is knowing how to optimize your eyeballs to money coming in. What I mean by that is, yes, a lot of people can create channels that get a lot of views, but I guarantee you, I could probably create a channel that gets way less views, but make a lot more money. The reason why is because I know exactly what to do with those eyeballs. I know how to optimize for affiliate marketing. I know how to optimize for sponsorships. I know how to build my own product that relates to that niche so that I can actually sell that to my audience instead of, just pitching other people's products. And yeah, the list goes on. You can just really get super creative with monetizing YouTube channels. We actually talk about this a lot in my Hustle Club newsletter. This is basically my free entrepreneurial newsletter that goes out once a week, and it teaches you how to become a better entrepreneur in 3 minutes or less. Beyond that, we also have my Hustle Club Mastermind, and this is where we really dive deep into all the different tactics that I use to monetize my YouTube channels as well as other businesses. So yeah, those links are gonna be down below if you guys are interested. Anyways, besides that, I also want to build other cash flowing businesses. There are many different business ideas that I'm eyeing right now that I'm in the process of, planning out and hopefully implementing in 2023. They don't really relate to YouTube, but I do know that I can utilize my current personal brand and help kickstart those businesses. I'm even considering buying some of those boring cash flow businesses like laundromats, car washes, gas stations, things like that, which are more boring boring. They're not as cool to talk about, but these types of businesses are not going anywhere. And when done right, they can offer a very valuable cash flow source that can, help. And I'll be able to use that money and flow it into our next source, which is going to be passive income. Passive income is something everyone talks about. I think not a lot of people realize how hard it is to actually build passive income, but I definitely think it should be counted as one of the wonders of the world. The reason why passive income is so cool is because it removes the connection between time and money. Breaking this connection is imperative if you want to get really wealthy. And I truly think that without passive income, you'll always sort of be considered like a slave working for that paycheck. Now in this category, I plan on doing a number of things. First up is I plan on investing in early stage companies because this can actually return in very, very high ROI. Yes, it is quite dangerous. It's very risky. And of, let's say, 100 investments, maybe only 5 to 10 of them have a positive ROI. But the thinking here is while most will fail, the ones that do succeed should have a 50 to 1,000x return on your money. I also plan on investing in content creators and companies as a strategic partner. So since I've really built up a successful formula for creating a YouTube channel and for using social media to help gain attention for a business or whatever it is, I can actually come on as a consultant or some type of manager, help content creators and businesses grow effectively using social media, and then take a percentage of the earnings. A lot of people do this right now. For example, Alex Hormozy, you guys might know his company acquisition.com, and that basically is the whole premise of that company. Partnering up with companies, taking some equity, and helping them increase their revenues. Beyond that, of course, I want to buy and hold stocks in crypto for the long term, and I want to build a very sizable real estate portfolio. If you look at the wealth accumulated by most really, really rich people, a common thing that they all have is a big real estate portfolio. And I truly think it is one of the best types of investments ever. And plus, there are a lot of tax advantages that not a lot of people know about when it comes to investing in real estate. Overall, I'll be finding things that appreciate in value over time, and I'll be putting money and time into content creators and businesses, partnering up with them, and earning a passive percentage of the future revenues that they build. And then that leads us to the next main thing that I'm going to be doing, which is starting 2 to 4 companies that are not directly tied to my name, and hopefully eventually selling those companies. While I do view YouTube channels as sort of like a business, I definitely do want to expand beyond that because I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. I sort of touched upon this in the first category that we talked about, but really the whole goal is to build some companies that are not tied to my name. While the initial growth on these companies might be a little bit harder, they might cost a lot more money to actually start up, they have a way higher cap in terms of valuations and what I can possibly sell them for in the future. 2 industries that I'm very, very interested in are the education space as well as the online business space. They sort of go hand in hand, but this is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I think there's a lot of room for growth over the next decade, and I really want to create companies that reinvent the wheel when it comes to education as well as helping people start up their business. Stuff is definitely in the works. This is very uncomfortable for me because I wouldn't say I'm a true entrepreneur yet. I am more of a small solo entrepreneur, content entrepreneur, and I really have not built a big business yet. But if I want to reach that $100 million net worth, I definitely think that is going to be necessary. If you look at the wealth of a lot of people, not only do they have a lot of real estate, but a lot of these people have big companies that they've grown a lot. They've created a lot of equity that they have in that company, and they eventually sell it or they just own a lot of shares. So yeah, for a lofty goal like $100 million, it's very, very likely that anyone with that type of net worth owns a lot of equity in different companies. And then lastly, while all 3 of these things are going to contribute to my net worth and add to it, there's something that's always going to be working against it, and that is keeping up with the Joneses. As you make more money, it's going to be very, very likely that you spend more money as well. You'll be wanting to keep up with your new friends. You'll see other people with nicer things that you might be able to technically afford, but not necessarily need. And at some point, the temptation to actually buy those things might just become too great, and you'll cave in and buy things that you otherwise would not need. So that's something that I'm very, very cautious about. I did grow up very frugal, so I do think I have sort of an advantage when it comes to this. All the money that I am going to be spending, I want to go to something that either brings me a lot of happiness or actually is just a store of value. So by happiness, I mean spending on things like my friends, going to decent restaurants, spending on experiences, definitely not going crazy on these things, but also not trying to be very stingy with them. By wealth transfer, I mean spending money on things and items that actually hold their value, so you can sort of view it as a personal bank account. For example, if you take a look at my Ferrari, I think a lot of people would see that purchase and be like, oh, he splurged a lot of money on that he's not going to get back. Well, the reason why I actually bought that car is because it's actually a really good store of value. It's the last naturally aspirated V8 from Ferrari. It's basically going to be a collector's car, and I do think that if I hold this car for 5, 10, 20 years, it should go up in value. So I basically view it as putting my money into a forced savings account that I can actually enjoy and take out and drive. Now, while I really will try not to fully keep up with the Joneses, I have to say that I do really want to spend more money in certain categories. More specifically, that's going to be things like my business and things that save my time and mental energy. So yes, a lot of these daily activities like cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, cooking, all that stuff, I definitely do plan on having people help out with those. That will really free up my time. That's gonna leave me with a lot more energy to actually invest into my businesses. And yeah, expanding on that, I want to spend a lot more money on payroll. So yeah, as my income goes up, as my net worth grows up, the percentage I spend on my payroll and my team should go up significantly. And I know it is scary to spend money on things that might not necessarily pan out, but I've really rewired my thinking of payroll, cleaners, cooks, whatever, that stuff. Rather than being a red arrow going left away from my net worth goal, these things should definitely be considered a green arrow going to the right and helping you gain wealth instead of taking away from it. So we've gone over the whole plan as well as the things that actually detract from that goal. But I want to end this video with something that I think is extremely important, and that is viewing this plan with the right mindset. To most people, I think a plan like this seems extremely impossible, not doable, and just super out of reach. And while I do agree that, it is a very lofty goal, you just really need to think of things as possible. Because if you don't, like I said earlier, you'll just look for reasons and excuses that justify why you think that. So by me thinking that this is entirely possible, I'm gonna be mapping it out, I'm gonna be taking action, and I'll be looking for actual ways to achieve that goal. The story that really sticks with me to this date was learning about what Sylvester Stallone had to go through. He was chasing a goal so big that no one thought he could actually achieve, but he knew he could do it. And he really put himself in the position where he had to look for solutions. For example, he sold his dog for $40 because he just literally didn't have any more money when he was trying to act. And then after writing the script for Rocky and actually selling it to someone and convincing them that he had to play the lead role, he actually bought his dog back for $15,000. It's a super cool example of someone that set their sights on something that a lot of people thought would not be possible, finding the solutions to actually make it happen, and then of course ultimately achieving all the success that he's had today. And the other thing is, I'm gonna dive into this plan without caring about failure. I know that within these categories, I'm gonna see a lot of failure. A lot of businesses are not gonna work out. I'm probably gonna lose a lot of money on some of them. I'm gonna waste a lot of time. But I will say that you can never be worth $100 million if you don't take these risks, if you don't take action, because you're just scared of failing. Yes, you can get very rich, but you will never become fully wealthy. And yeah, that is my whole plan of achieving a $100 million net worth within the next 5 years. I scripted this video, I filmed it, I put it out into the world, and now you guys are watching this, and I feel like I owe it to you guys or to whoever to actually achieve what I set out to do. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys got some inspiration from it, as well as sort of a view into my strategic plan that you guys can hopefully implement into your own lives. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. I do a lot of videos about personal finance, entrepreneurship, and investing. So yeah, all things that help you achieve financial success. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.